What's happening, everybody? Shawn Fury here, Mr. Hero Support Guy. Ready for another episode of Next Stop Awesome Town. Today I have Robin Darrah with us from New Brunswick, Canada. Welcome, Robin. So pumped to have you here. So guys, I'm going to be interviewing people about where they're at, where they're going, and what's their next step on the journey to Awesome Town, whatever that is for you, actualizing your vision. So Robin, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm certainly honored to be here, and Awesome Town is like the best place to go, or at least work towards getting to.
Yes.
So a little bit about me. I've been an esthetician for 12 years, almost 13 years actually. Makes me feel a little bit old. An esthetician does, manicures and pedicures and facials and eyebrow waxing and all the aesthetics of the body.
Nice.
So I have all kinds of knowledge when it comes to taking care of your skin and your appearance that way. And I love it because it allowed me to make people feel good about themselves that way. But along my journey, I kind of lost myself and my true callings. I mean, it's always been to make people feel good, but I'm not one to really care too much about my appearance. I dolled myself up for you today, but
love the hairstyle.
I'm like the mom with the yoga pants and the mom bun all the time.
Yeah.
So, anyways, no, during my journey, I've decided that I want to make people be able to see their power and heal themselves in whatever way that looks like. So we do have the power to heal from different things, and anxiety and depression is one that really I'm drawn to helping people with. So finding that power in what ways helps you. You is a big word for me. You is the name of the app that I'm creating. And a few years ago, I had this vision where there was this business that had shut down in my town, and I was renting a space where my chair, so I had to pay for rent for that. I had to pay for rent for my home and all this stuff. And I was like, it would be awesome to just have that place and have my chair in there, but have hairdressers and physiotherapists and a yoga studio and anything that would pertain to you. So you could walk in and whatever improvement to yourself looks like for you, you had it in one place.
Yes.
So that was a vision, and I kind of forgot about it. But then I started creating this app, and now I'm like, oh, I can put the facility into an app and people can carry it around with them wherever they go.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm really grateful to have met you, because I just feel like there's just the way that you deliver your information is just at a level that is so relatable. I have always said to my kids that I am Wonder Woman.
Right. I often have related to Superman because that came out when I was a little kid. But Superman is known as the Man of Steel, right? And in a way, I think that one of my skills is I may not know Kung Fu, but I can sure take a beating. And I just keep coming back. And sometimes they say, test your mettle or whatever, how much difficulty can you endure before you give up? And if you're going to achieve your goal and be authentically yourself and make it to Awesome Town, like we said yesterday, you're going to have to go through a lot of hard times and adversity, because there's going to be people in your life that don't like what you're doing, or that 100%. Misunderstand it, and they think you're being the bad guy, so. And they're going to tempt you and provoke you to act out. And if you do, then you won't make it to Awesome Town. So you have to really be heroic in your own way. And so it's just purely, for me, a positive thing. I don't really see a downside to it. But so many people, they project their own biases and fears onto that big screen and think, Wonder Woman, Superman, what are you, arrogant, narcissistic, elitist? You think you're better than? I'm like, no, I'm just telling you that instead of calling me an alcoholic or a junkie or an asshole, call me heroic.
Exactly. 100%.
I'd rather be associated with something that is going somewhere than something that's going to keep me stuck. If I had to have an identity, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And we kind of touched on the fact that like going through the process of finding our awesome town, it can still hurt in ways that, I mean, it's just a different kind of hurt. So if you think about being in an environment where you're, you know, using substance or being abused or whatever that looks like, and
Yeah.
then you move into this place where you're trying to figure out who you are and you're growing and you feel that, but you're losing your friends, yeah, that hurts, but
Yep.
it's a different kind of hurt. It's a more fulfilling, like, I'm not doing this to hurt them, I'm doing this because I need to do it for me. So it's a
Exactly.
beautiful thing when you look at it in that sense.
Yes, and it's so worth it. And you realize, you know what? I'd rather experience the pain of, the caterpillar cracking out of the cocoon to become the butterfly than the pain of, never facing my fears or addressing problems. You know what I mean? And in other words, like what you described, it's a pain that's a part of growth and
Exactly.
becoming, versus the pain of having to keep waking up every day to the same situation that you didn't like 10 years ago and that you still don't like.
I've never really thought about the superhero concept, but since we talked about it, I'm like thinking about the last few movies I watched with my son. And so two things have come up. Like, well, first of all, like, yeah, it always looks like the superhero wins. But if you think about like all of the movie, they don't win every time. So like
Right.
you got to think about that there's steps to that big win. But also by the end of the movie, there's like the nugget about what's coming up next. And there's gonna be another battle coming.
Yes.
So there's that. And choices. So we the last movie I watched with my son was actually Deadpool,
Yeah.
and the after we got off the off our little recordings yesterday, I thought about when one of the X-Men had come to Deadpool and he's like, it only takes a couple minutes to decide if you want to be a hero or not.
Wow.
And it was like, do I kill this guy or do I make the choice of being a hero in this one situation?
Yep.
So that's kind of how I go with my day to day. Like, I knew the next question you're going to ask me is like, well, what are the next steps?
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person who I like to, live by the day. And
Yeah.
each choice that I make, is it getting me closer to that goal or is it not?
Yes.
And I find a lot of times, like, let's say the goal is we're going to lose weight. Well, you want to lose weight and you went, 3 or 4 days and you like stuck to that goal and then you ate a cake and you're like,
Yep.
oh, I just ruined it. It's all out the window and I got to wait till Monday or I'm going to wait till next month. And that just never happens.
Right,
So
right.
I like to use the analogy of, have you ever seen the TikTok where there's like a watermelon and they keep putting the elastics around the watermelon until it completely busts?
No, I haven't seen that. Good
You'll
analogy
have
though.
to check it out. Well, my kids have watched it. Well, anyways, my daughter, who's 5, decided she was going to do that to an apple. And I
Okay.
thought, there's no way that you're going to be able to break that apple. Like, it's way, like, it's harder inside.
Yeah.
Anyways, her and her friend, they did it. And it was like the perfect analogy for me. So it's like the apple is your goal. And each time you make a choice towards that goal, you put an elastic on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you happen to eat that piece of cake, well, you just take one off. It doesn't mean you have
Right.
to start all over from scratch. And
Right.
eventually, if you keep making choices towards your goal, it's going to crack open and you're going to get it. But you got
Exactly.
to celebrate the wins and you got to be
Yes.
okay with if you fail every once in a while because we're human
Yes.
and that's just what happens, right?
Exactly.
And as you evolve too, it's like you grow. As you evolve, you grow and your language changes. It's no different than a little kid, right? You get up and
Exactly.
you just every day you learn something new and you take with it whatever you took out of it and you keep on growing and maybe things change. And I mean, how many
Exactly.
times when you're a baby did you get up and fall down and get up and fall down and get up and fall
Right.
down? You didn't just sit there and say, I'm never going to be able to do it. You just did it. You were a winner from the time you came out of the womb.
Exactly. And in a way, that's kind of what I think those of us that are trying to be coaches are kind of like, we're acting like what I call a change midwife. We're helping people to give birth to their change that they want to have.
Yes, exactly. I like to help them narrow down what is their why and what is their premise and like
Yeah.
what is their strategy, right? And I don't claim to be an expert in all of those things. So
Yeah.
it's great to collaborate like this and meet new people and get out of your comfort zone so that I can invite them into this process. And so
Right.
in which point, right, they would just, people will have access to get to them in whatever way that looks like. So I like
Yeah.
energy healing is something I'm really drawn to.
Yeah.
So I've collaborated with a lot of energy healers. I've collaborated with lots of yoga instructors. I mean, I have lots of friends that are hairstylists and estheticians and makeup artists. And
Yeah.
there's just so many things that we can do to improve ourselves. And like, I'm not for everybody. So I would hope that, you know, another coach like yourself might resonate with somebody that happens to find the app, right? Or find me
Right.
online.
Yes.
And yeah, women and men and whoever needs it. But I also like to look at life with essential oils. That's a huge part of my lifestyle. It's a lot of the reason why myself and my family are really healthy, I think. I got into them because of the emotional benefits. They would
Yep.
help me with my emotional well-being. So like from day to day, when those, you know, pianos fall in front of you and stop you in your track, that's something that we'll use to help, you know, shift our perspective and bring back the happy. Because I like to focus on, yeah, there's a goal, but I really focus day to day on how do I want to feel? And if I don't feel that way, how do I change it?
Exactly. Well, we can put a link below this on whatever social media sites we can find it on, which would be like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you want to put it. But we can put a link to your app or any websites that you want to link to.
Well, you know what? We could pretty much call this my launch, man. I haven't really told very many people that I'm working on an app. So this is good.
Nice.
Surprise.
Right. So now let's go to that third question. In general, you know, whether it's a linear thing or a systems wide non-linear approach, what do you think might be one of your next steps towards bringing your app to life?
My next step, truthfully, is working on you is a continuous evolution, I realize, but
Yeah.
I need to work on marketing and speaking outside of my bubbles.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, any last thoughts you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I'm just happy to be part of the team and you too on this end.
Found it.